was really low.
Hi, everyone.
Ew.
Is David coming today?
I'm not sure. I haven't heard from him. Uh, what's that,
Sound
Michelle? You cannot hear us? Is there some issue with the sound? Can you guys hear me?
No,
Yes.
I can hear everyone. It's our car was really low when she
Ah,
talked.
okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So it looks like we are live on YouTube. I haven't heard from David. Let's see if he shows up. We'll just carry on if he doesn't. Uh, and Violet, she's in the process of moving to Florida. Uh,
Okay.
so I guess she'll be back with us when she's settled in Florida, I guess.
Yeah.
Is she going by foot?
Uh, well, that's a good question. Maybe we should all send her an email. Hey, what's going on? Where are you? When will you be back? I think that will motivate her to come back sooner than she would have planned.
Hopefully, she went there after the hurricane.
Yes.
Yeah, I know for sure that she's not there yet because I remember she said she had to stay in California for a few weeks. Uh, and then I think she moved to a hotel, a temporary accommodation for a few weeks before she could move to Florida. So I think she's just in transition, and I guess she needs her time, I suppose. All right, so I'll start sharing my screen now. Let me know when you guys can see it. All right,
Yes.
it's Monday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific, and we are working on chapter 7 of the book, The Invocation of Presence, for those who are listening to the recording. This chapter is called On Invoking Presence. And I guess we can just get started. Whoever feels like jumping in, please do. Thanks.
I'll
Okay,
start.
you can get
Uh,
started.
oh,
Oh, okay. Okay, go ahead.
no, okay. Bhavani, please go ahead.
Interesting.
It's okay.
Okay. So audible enough?
I can
Am
hear
I
you.
Your
audible?
Yes.
voice is low, Alka, for some reason.
It
Okay.
is. I don't know why, because only in the US calls the voice goes low. Otherwise, tells me the voice is low. But is it better now?
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I think
Much, much better.
Okay, great.
Alka, it's coming from very far, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah. I think now it should be better.
Yes.
Okay, great. On invoking presence, the phenomenal world can and should be viewed as a giant theater in which every phenomenal form is a character within which every participating non phenomenal presence has a definite part to play. It can easily be seen how everyone can play his or her part either voluntarily or involuntarily, either well or badly. But if we are players on a stage, for whose benefit is this eternal, perpetual performance, in which each moment is captured and frozen forever in a matrix of space and time, through which our non phenomenal attention passes as a wandering traveler, producing the compelling illusion of personal participation and even self-initiated action?
Could you read it again? Because it's a question very difficult to read. Could you read it again?
Sure. It can be easily seen how everyone can play his or her part either voluntarily or involuntarily, either well or badly. But if we are players on a stage, for whose benefit for whose benefit is this eternal perpetual performance in which each moment is captured and frozen forever in a matrix of space and time, through which our non-phenomenal attention passes as a wandering traveler, is producing the compelling illusion of personal participation and even self-initiated action. That's a rather long sentence.
Very long.
Yeah.
There is a lot in that sentence for sure.
It's
Yeah.
jam-packed.
Yeah, I think it's asking kind of a lot of why kind of questions. Like why this, why that, why this life?
I think what it's trying to add is that it's a question that who for what is this happening? Like why, if we are players on this stage, like who, why? I was just going through this attentionizer exercise, and I realized that you could be in the moment if you become the dot. Like not so because when you see the dot, it's a different phenomena because your thoughts are coming because you're not it. But if you become the dot moving into that space, your presence is like right there. So I think again, he's saying that when I saw this last sentence at the last couple of lines, it made me realize the attentionizer exercise because, our, where was this? But if we are players on a stage, for whose benefit is this eternal, perpetual performance? So when that happened, players on a stage, I felt that I am that dot on that stage, going round and round. And when you become that, like that, the presence, I just felt it intensified, where thoughts diminished for a while.
So I think the sentence completes if we, for a moment or two, park the 2 or 3 commas in between. The sentence is, for whose benefit is this eternal, perpetual performance, producing the compelling illusion of personal participation and even self-initiated action. For whose benefit is it producing the illusion of personal participation and self? So basically that it's all just a self-created or self-created drama, right? So
Yes,
That's beautiful.
good point.
Reading the chapter about the play, I really got that feeling of I'm in a play and I can decide to either well or badly. But if we are player on a stage, yeah, I felt that I have a responsibility then to play it for the best of my abilities. Mhm.
now, yes. And so if we come back to the other sentences, it speaks about each moment is captured and frozen forever in space and time. So though this is a performance, we don't know to whose benefit, each moment is still forever frozen in a matrix of space and time. So this is like a veil, like a thick veil made out of like many such moments of performances. And through this veil, our non-phenomenal attention passes as a wandering traveler. Right? So when we are a wandering traveler, our not the phenomenal, the non-phenomenal attention can pass through this veil also. So I don't know, these are multiplicities of.
This paragraph kind of makes me think about moments where I recognize that I am a character in a play. And what does that do to me? Like, did I remember this 10 minutes ago? And if I didn't remember that, then where was I? So those kind of moments make me realize that uh, these particular moments are fleeting and they are particular moments in time. where you feel your presence more present. At least that's what I thought when I was reading this.
And
Thank you. Yeah, that's very useful.
I even wanted to add to this the compelling illusion of personal participation means every time you have this illusion that you're doing something. So it gives this compelling illusion that just because you think you're doing it, you are doing it, but it's actually happening by itself. If you become that wandering traveler, that if you just step back, you suddenly realize it's happening, right? Like if somebody's saying something good to you, oh, you feel all praiseful. Just a second later, somebody, your companion will say, oh, he just keeps saying good to everyone, he doesn't mean it. Suddenly you feel sad. The third one, the third, angry, and you suddenly see this entire flow happening with just a word, and you think you are there, but you're not. It's just happening by itself. You're just a step back and you suddenly realize, oh, it's just like a theater going on right in front of you. So it's that compelling illusion. Just because you think you're participating in any talk or any action, like self-initiated action, you feel like you're doing this pottery and you feel you're doing it, but it's the hand doing it, the brain doing it. You're just there, it's happening by itself. So I feel like it's such a illusion, just with that, everything around you.
Yeah, it reminds me of the clear light thing where it says all phenomena is illusion, and it's just swirling patterns in infinite endlessness, right? So this is the illusion, the infinite patterns, and then there is the all phenomena is illusion. So what is not illusion is the non-phenomenal attention, right? Which allows you to pass through these veils of illusion um, as a wandering traveler, as we explore uh, as observers, uh, rather than participants. So you can also observe the performer on the stage. You are the performer on the stage. You're doing all of these crazy things and identifications, but there is another parallel self, which is the observing, non-phenomenal, attention, heavy self, which can pierce through that veil as well at the same time.
All right, I guess we can continue reading. Alka, you can continue, else we can just pass on.
All right. Involuntary life can be transformed by effectively invoking the presence of one's presence into the present and then voluntarily playing one's corresponding voluntary part in the phenomenal world. At which time it suddenly becomes possible to study and learn our corresponding non-phenomenal roles in the unveiled kingdom by the observation of the resulting unveiled vision. So I think this is exactly what I was talking about.
Nice.
Yeah, I think this is exactly where everything that was talked in the earlier para is there.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Asked if he would be willing to demonstrate this unveiled vision, he answered with a sigh. Once, maybe when I was young, I might do for a pretty young lady. Now I can only afford to perform these little tricks for a very rich dowager with correspondingly fat checkbook. Of course, strictly for the benefit of the work.
Sure.
Mhm. He threw his head back and rumbled with deep laughter at his own joke, which was, by and large, lost upon most of the group. You wanted to say something, Bhavin. I'm waiting for you to say it.
Yeah, just the way it's hilarious,
EJ definitely has
I
a sense of humor that's
I
very
could
unique
not
to him.
understand this joke though, like completely what it means.
That's his humor. That's his humor, Sati.
No, I understand that's a humor, but I couldn't collect the bits and pieces of the whole humor that he's trying to make here. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
me either. Me either.
So I think what he's saying here is that, like, he's talking about taking on these voluntary roles, right? So he's saying that when he was young, he could do for a pretty young lady, which is of more romantic, more rosy an illusion. But now his voluntary role has changed to a very rich dowager with a fat checkbook, right? Strictly for the benefit of the work. So from that romantic, rosy picture, it's become very practical, role oriented, responsibility oriented, grown up.
So, how I saw it was that he's willing to demonstrate this unveiled vision, like that, oh, look,
Exactly.
something so amazing. So just to attract a pretty young lady who'd be like, oh wow, you're so amazing, you can do something like this, like, say levitate off the ground. God knows what he's talking about here. But basically he'll suddenly, like, say, talk about something, the unveiled vision, which is non-phenomenal, right? So he's talking of some non-phenomenal, like, I recall a lot of gurus do that, where they suddenly talk, oh, your mother's going to call you tomorrow. I've heard that, like, from Ram Das, saying that about who's the saint, I forgot his name. But anyhow, but what happens is that they try to attract you with some non-phenomenal thing, that, oh, this is going to happen tomorrow, oh, you're pregnant, your wife is pregnant, she's going to call you. And so they talk about this non-phenomenal thing suddenly to attract that person into the aura, like, oh, now you're you got into my this thing. But now he's saying that now he got now he'll only perform these little tricks for a very rich dowager with a fat checkbook. So now he's just being hilarious that he's not going to do that anymore. And then he's like just roughly saying, oh, strictly for the benefit of the work, nothing, so he's just trying to say, oh, I'm only doing work, nothing else. The fat book and the work does not even match, like, in a way. But yeah, so that's how.
I think there is so much more depth. There is depth to what he's trying to say through these words when talking about being able to demonstrate your unveiled vision. Most of the people, when they come to a guru, they are mostly around to be embracing the high that they get off of the guru. And many gurus just be there in the waking state, giving off this vibe, and people just stick to them because of that. And that can be impediment to your work because you're just trying to be there in the presence of a guru, and that's what attracts you. So most of the time EJ would be, I remember he talked about closing off his waking state. I'm not sure what the exact word was, closing off his high so that he would people won't come and be attracted after that. So there could be, many things that he might be implying when he's saying those things. And there are some things that you can't just demonstrate uh, for the sake of attracting more people. I could be wrong. This is just me speculating.
Thank you. It's good to hear from each one of you. Yeah, very, very good.
Well, that's the dynamic part of this group where each one of us brings different perspective, and we all come from a different background and life experiences. So that's what gels this group together, I think.
Yeah. So I wanted to check quickly, is this a half an hour meeting or a 1 hour meeting?
I think it has always been a 1 hour meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad.
Unless the time worked differently for you all this time in the past.
No, I just forgot. Sorry.
So you can pass on if you want, Alka.
Oh, yes, I will pass on.
I'll read.
Under certain special conditions, he continued, it is possible to temporarily or momentarily, artificially lift the phenomenal veil, taking the opportunity to see how easy it would be if our vision were unobstructed by organic conditioning to attach to the various impressions and sensations proceeding at any particular moment any significance whatever. Pass.
For the moment, at least, while temporarily free from the influence of the phenomenal wave, one is also momentarily free from the influences of organic fixations and is able to accept new categories of visions and ideas, new lamps for old, although the organic fixations will soon reassert themselves. When the non-phenomenal presence is isolated from the organic present, one may feel the higher emotion of irony detached from the sensations of sarcasm or cynicism. One may observe the activities of the machine world in utter isolation from significance. In the middle of it all, one may feel the impulse to laugh at the inexorable momentum of the organic machinery of life, that almost infinite colony of endless repetitions of one thing appearing in a variety of changing forms, flowing over the face of the patchwork quilt, the white robe of many colors, the vision straying first to one fraction of the one and then to another, he said, lapsing into silence for some time. And I pass.
I'm actually completely lost with this paragraph.
Yeah,
I'm like, what's going on?
yeah.
Should I read it again?
Yeah,
Yeah.
please go ahead.
Even the one that I read too, she can go back up. This one, yeah.
The moment?
Yeah.
For the moment, at least, while temporarily free from the influence of the phenomenal wave, one is also momentarily free from the influences of organic fixations and is able to accept new categories of visions and ideas, new lamps for old, although the organic fixations will soon reassert themselves. When the non-phenomenal presence is isolated from the organic present, one may feel the higher emotion of irony, detached from the sensations of sarcasm or cynicism. One may observe the activities of the machine world in utter isolation from significance. In the middle of it all, one may feel the impulse to laugh at the inexorable momentum of the organic machinery of life, that almost infinite colony of endless repetitions of one thing appearing in a variety of changing forms, flowing over the face of the patchwork quilt, while the white robe of many colors, the vision straying first to one fraction of the one and then to another. He said,
This makes me this reminds me of the same moments when I would realize that I'm a character in a play. My first reaction would be hilarity, comedy, and laughter, and I would just look at it all, and it would just seem hilarious to me for a brief moment where I realized like all my suffering is was meant for nothing, and I just realized that hey, there was nothing to be worried about or anything like that. And all the moments where I was going through some things would seem meaningless. And because of that, I would have some, hilarious reactions, and I always thought, hey, I must be crazy. Then I'm just laughing at it all. But I think this sentence there, where it says, uh, after irony, it says, detached from the sensations of sarcasm and cynicism, one may observe the activities of the machine world in utter isolation from significance, in the middle of it all. So I think this part where it says, observe the activities. Oh, here you go. It says, observe the activities in the machine world in utter isolation from significance. So what does that mean to you when you read that?
So how I saw that was that without making it too significant, like, oh, something happened. Like, for example, say something, the machine got mad. So you suddenly realize that, oh, this is the trigger point that happened that got the machine mad. But you don't give it too much significance to being mad. The significance is that this is where it triggered it. So the significance is not in the front. So, like, again, with that one, I would relate it to what's down below, flowing over the face of the patchwork quilt, the white robe of many colors. So it's literally like I said, like a movie going on. So what happens is that, say somebody said something and it triggered you, or somebody said something and this happened, you just suddenly see that the body is like just responding however the mind is working according to that action, to the word, to this. But you're back there just seeing it as a movie. So your observation is not that, oh, I got mad, or I got angry, or I got this, or I got that. This happened, the anger happened, say whatever it is that happened. But basically, it happened. Suddenly, there's a feeling of pride. Someone said something nice. And you suddenly see that the body responded, oh, yeah, and then starts talking in a certain way. And it's not that you become a part of that. You see that the body is responding. And what I realized is that when you just observe the responses, it starts falling away. So I think so you don't give significance to what the machine is doing. You detach from it and just see it as whatever is happening. Like, can you see the body jumping out of joy, or the feet tapping on music? You just see that this is happening, and not that, oh, you want to stop it because now you observed it. You just see that the body is doing it. It's following its own rhythm when it hears something. So can you just observe the body without being in it, without giving any significance that, oh, I was tapping. It's not you, the body is tapping. Like, the ear is listening, the feet are tapping because that there is a connection happening. Can you just be that person just observing it? Like, that's how I see it. Don't give significance to that activity. Just step back, and can we just see it without, that's how I see it.
Yeah. I think it's about learning how to be in this world, but not of it. I
Mhm.
think this is something that EJ has said, something in the past that definitely I keep in mind from time to time.
And also, I wondered about that almost infinite colony of endless repetitions of one thing appearing in a variety of changing forms, right? So that is, again, very important. I don't know if somebody wants to add to that.
Bernie, any thoughts on what's highlighted?
Yes, I'm very interested. I am again and again comes the phrase that EJ uses a lot: immersion without identification.
Mm,
So it's interesting. That's what I can say. But this is not an easy text. It's full of strong remarks. No, anyway, that is.
yeah.
I think
Can-
for this one, Nikhil, we can even add like what we have in Hindu mythology is the Puran, Shastra, and the Puran. So, do you know the concept of the Puran? That is something that keeps happening. It's not something has happened in the past, but it is something like it keeps happening. You know, the very meaning of that word Puran is how Purans are like. So, I think somebody asked Osho, if I'm not wrong, that what is it's a history, or when there is a Ramayana or something, some kind of like epic is going on, then we think that, oh, it happened in the past. So he mentioned that it doesn't matter if it has happened or not, but this is how the whole drama of life unfolds, like, over and over again and again. And that's what we call them as a Purans. So this particular line, almost infinite colony of endless repetitions of one thing appearing in variety of changing forms. So that just clicked my mind.
Nice. I didn't know about Puran, so that was very interesting to hear.
Does Nishant want to add? Mm.
Oh, hey Nishant, welcome. I didn't realize we have Nishant here.
Oh, thanks. Yes. No, I think some of it is that story in other book that EJ mentioned about the king is naked.
Mm,
Uh, you know that story where this king
the
wants
Emperor.
new clothes, and then
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
Oh, I don't.
yeah.
Can you say the story?
So there is a king, and uh, they in the story EJ uses K capital for the king. And this king wants new clothes like every day, every hour. He just wants new clothes. And the tailor is tired of making new clothes now. So he says that, I'm going to give you a new cloth now, which will keep changing colors every moment. The only problem is that the fools will not be able to see it. Only the wise people, only the learned, intelligent people can see it, and the fools cannot see it. So he says, okay, that's fine as long as, I get something that will change colors every moment. And they, they, they make it, and then the king wears it, and he goes in the town, and that one of the no everybody sees that he's naked, he's just roaming around naked. He feels that he's wearing these shiny, like amazing clothes which are just changing colors every moment. And then finally a boy, some small kid says that, oh look, the king is naked.
Mm.
uh, but in
Mm.
this one, um so he asked the tailor that why this boy. He says, oh, he's just a boy, he doesn't know, he's just a fool. They don't know anything. So what we can do is we can teach the kid so that they can see your clothes. But
Mm.
the problem, I mean, the condition is once they see your clothes, they cannot see you.
I just want to add a little bit to that story in
Yeah,
the middle. When uh, when the king is waiting for the day when the tailor will give him this new clothes that changes every minute, he's very excited for it. And then he approaches the tailor, and the tailor goes to a box, picks up with his hands, and there is nothing in his hands. And he can see where the king thinks to himself, "Where are the clothes?" But the tailor says only the wise see the clothes. And he didn't want to admit that he wasn't wise. His
yeah,
pride made him say, okay, there must be clothes in there, let me wear it. And the tailor puts the clothes on it. So his
Yeah, so
pride leads him into it.
that is that fairy tale version.
Oh, okay.
Nikhil,
Interesting.
good you pointed it out because EJ has not mentioned that segment in his story.
No, but I remember
Um,
Baba did the same story also.
That's
Okay.
yeah,
Taylor. That's what I must say.
Yeah. So the thing is we can also be the king, but we are also the kid. It's the both of us that is happening. The king is the ignorant emperor who won't admit that he's naked. And there is a kid somewhere behind in the crowd who needs to have the courage to point out that, hey, this is not real. This thing, this thing, whatever I'm seeing in front of me, it's not real.
Beautiful.
yeah, but I, if you will read the text, it's in the Lazy Man's Guide, the first chapter.
Oh, really?
Uh,
Interesting.
yeah, that's not the meaning. It's not a fairy tale thing. So this is what, like, even I understood the same way as as you are mentioning. But in that chapter, there is a different understanding.
Hmm.
So king is written as a capital K, as suggesting to the absolute, and the clothes, the way it comes out, and when you read it, you tell us if you know how you felt it. Is all this the phenomenal word?
And
If we see yes, Bernie, yeah, go ahead.
no, you remember yesterday night you were talking about the strange things of tales, why they are so abundant in this kind of
Right,
world.
right.
We are now seeing, interesting seeing that each one of us has different views about the same story.
Same
That is a
story, right?
that is a very good point. Uh, why these stories or whatever were tailored by very wise people because they can move different um, senses of each of us, no? And we can react to them. Sometimes we see something, and next time we see another thing, and that's it. And you know, I've read this tale many times, and it's excellent, and it's universal because you know many things. Many people say, even in politics, the child in the crowd, no. But there's
Hmm.
one point that I discovered also is the king really a king? It's another feature that it has. You can take these stories and come with many points of view. So that is
Right,
the
right.
beautiful of this kind of stories. No,
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Thank you.
Yeah. You
yeah.
know the story is
No,
written by a master. Yeah.
So, Nikhil, you said the king is the absolute. So, what about the child and the other people who were agreeing with him and the child pointed out? So, if you can relate, like what he.
so child, what I understood is like the innocence. When we see things, we may see things as it is, but when other things get involved, when I mean, there are different layers to it. It's no one way to say it. I would recommend you read that because the patchwork quilt that word comes from, it has been used many times in that chapter. Like,
Really
the
interesting.
patchwork quilt, yeah, patchwork quilt. And that's why I thought that there was some reference to that story, The King is Naked.
Hmm. And I think it can also be related to the sleeping nature of the machine of the whole crowd and the child being the only awake one. because
Yeah,
you can also
right, right.
go ahead, Nishant.
No, that is correct. And I personally felt that, when the tailor said to the king that, they don't know anything and we will make sure that they will learn to see your clothes. The only condition is once they learn to see your clothes, they won't be able to see you. They will only see your
Ah,
clothes.
that is very interesting.
When we are conditioned with all our training, learning, this, that, we just see the phenomenal and we just get lost in the phenomenon. We don't see the non-phenomenal. We don't see the king behind the phenomenon.
I think one
We see the
important thing that
trees,
you
we see the clouds, we see all these nice mountains, nature, everything. We see all the technology, but we don't see the forces behind that.
So the story until now, what I had heard, this part was missing, and I think this makes more sense that you're saying that okay, the tailor said we need to train the child, but then once he will be trained to see, then he won't be able to see. So yeah, so after the wedding,
Correct.
there
He
you want
won't be able to see the king then. Only will see the
yeah.
clothes.
So that makes sense.
And will be amazed with all your clothes that, oh, what beautiful clothes, what amazing clothes. It keeps changing every moment. If you sit at the beach, there is no moment that repeats. You are just sitting, you can sit there for hours.
Mm.
right.
There is no two waves together. You will never be bored at the beach. You'll always be amazed. Oh, look at this. The scene has changed, the sun has changed, the colors have changed. But we don't see. Then we don't see the king. We just see the clothes.
That's
I
beautiful.
I think one important thing that Nishan pointed out today was that we learn to see the clothes and we forget to
Yeah,
see the king. It's something that is habitual. It's a tendency that is programmed into us.
And I
Where as a
love.
child, yeah,
Go ahead.
no, as a child, we didn't have that program. So as a child, the child was able to see because he has not learned yet. He has not learned the program of looking at the clothes and being fascinated by it and ignoring the king because the king is covered now by the clothes.
I wanted to add to that that is actually matching with the sentence here. The vision strained first to one fraction of the one. So
yeah,
basically, uh, everything is coming from that one, but you only see a straying vision. Like the vision is straying, it's not even constant. So it's you just see a fraction of one, fraction of that one, but you cannot put that whole picture together. But the thing is that because we're so seeing only with that one angle or with that one viewpoint of that king, right? Like not the king, but basically of the vision of just the clothes, of one color of that cloth. So we cannot see the whole entire picture of the one. So
yeah. And that's how he comes up with that word patchwork quilt. There is patches. This patch is pink color, other is yellow color. One is green color. It's just a quilt all quilted together on that white robe.
Oh,
and it's constantly changing fonts, right? Like
Changing. Yeah.
so beautiful. But if we see the endless repetition, again, the almost infinite colony of endless repetitions of one thing appearing in a variety of changing forms, if we catch that endless repetition, then we kind of got something out of it. If we can catch that, the
Analogy, interesting analogy is if you not that you look at the film, if you look at the way that the film is done, not now with electronics, but with the old style, 16 millimeters or 32 millimeters celluloid or film.
Yes.
What we see is movement, but in reality is hundreds of still photographs that
Right.
are passed in a special velocity or sequence so that we have learned to see a movement. If you slow the speed or you high the speed, you see the kind of films that were very we laugh today from the 1910 and 20, but that is the example, perfect example of in reality seeing that we have learned to see movement, and very intelligent people realize that if you have many still pictures and moved at a special velocity, you see movement. I think there is something interesting there
Yeah.
to see an analogy.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
But I think that endless repetition you could only see when you step back. Like that's something which I realized that without giving it any significance, right? Only then you can see it. So that's what I
But the
realized.
but the mind, the mind is. We are exploring this. Don't take my word for it. I'm exploring it as we are. The mind is continually trying to make sense out of what is seen, mostly because seeing is our most powerful sense, of course. No,
Yeah.
neurobiologists have long ago discovered that a big portion of the brain is dedicated to seeing. No, because it's very
Yeah.
powerful and it's very for survival. It's very good. No, but anyway, we are trying continually to make sense, and you see these wise guys or gurus or whatever you can name them, that they, they sometimes say something that doesn't make sense to us. That we try to make sense out of senseless things.
Yes. Yeah.
Huh? It's a
We are
paradox.
trained, Bernie. We are trained to do that.
Yes, yes, and has a survival benefit, of course. Absolutely. The thing that we don't realize that we are seeing that way the things. We need to continue making things sense. It's okay
Yeah.
for survival, but if we think a bit, we realize that life is a continual paradox. Uh, Opposite forces are continually working. Entropy, love and hate, is death and life, whatever. No, but through we fear that. No, we don't want that. We want the things to be clear and make sense and all is right. No.
Yeah.
Uh, Anyway, that is an exploration I'm doing. Not
Yeah.
sure.
Well, the mind or the machine, well, let's say the mind is continually scanning the environment. It's using all the senses that the brain is getting to make sense of the world so that it can feel safe. Once it makes sense of the world and knows that I'm not in danger, it uses that information to feel safe. That's where whenever we go to a new place, we are always find ourselves on edge compared to when we are at home. So the machine is designed to use the information for its safety, right? It's a survival mechanism, and that's a habit.
Yes.
And we should be glad that the machine is doing that. and it has this functionality. It's keeping us safe.
Yeah,
Perfectly.
yeah, good point.
Mm. I think the work is knowing this and knowing that we are asked to stretch ourselves in a way, not abandon this feature that is very, very important for our living and safety. But it appears that we need to realize that it has limitations, no? But I don't think that is the idea itself is enough, of course, no. But
Mm.
with this, I mean, what we are reading, what we are thinking, doesn't give by itself the realization of that, let's say, enlightenment. But it's information we are storing and giving a possibility that what we are seeing, feeling, or whatever could be like a picture, a theater. There could be
Yeah,
some more to it. And, those of us who read and ponder about the sayings of this wise guy, whatever, um, they say that there is a nascent organ in humanity that is coming about. Uh, and, I don't know if some days ago we talked about necessity, so that new organs come to bring about by necessity, no? So maybe
yeah,
what these teachers or guru or whatever are helping us to increase our necessity, not our desire, but our necessity, or the necessity of, of humanity. Who knows? I'm
yeah.
just speculating a bit. Thank you.
Well, we all are. Well, I think we had definite flow of ideas where one built on each other. I believe I thought that the initial play and the character definitely built on with the Emperor story, and it definitely connected well with with each other. Uh, well, we are. It looks like we are at the end of the hour. It really went by
Yeah, so
fast.
last week I had to share something and I
Oh
had
yeah.
I was waiting. So I will wait one more week, okay? I will share it
Okay.
next week.
Well, uh, sure. Okay. Just make sure you remember the idea.
All right.
And all right. Thank you guys for coming in. Look forward to
Bye
seeing you
bye.
next Monday.
Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you.